everybody, welcome back to another video. So if you guys live on Oahu, for those of you who live here like me, you know that the weather has been pretty junk lately. Yesterday it was not too bad, pretty low winds, but it was still kind of overcast. But today it was super bust up, super overcast, raining the whole day. We had some big south winds come in and also a huge northwest swell that wrapped around pretty much the entire island except the south side. And so I couldn't get in a dive, but I thought I'd still make a video for you guys. So today I'm going to be reviewing my Speargun. This is my Riffe Euro 110cm, and it is the best gun that I've ever used in my opinion, and it's my favorite gun of all time. And I'm just going to go over some things that I love about it, some things that I don't like too much about it, and then I'm going to get into some fish that I was able to shoot with it and why I think it was advantageous in each of these situations. So without further ado, let's get into the benefits. So here are some things real quick that I really love about this gun. First of all, it's a good length. It's perfect length for if I want to go to a reef that has a good amount of structure, and it's also great because I usually go deeper now, about anywhere from 50 to 80 feet on average, and so usually down that deep there's not a ton of structure, and so this is great for giving me that extra range. Another thing that I love about this gun is the trigger pull. It's, if you guys watch, I line up on my fish, boom, everything pops out, and it's super smooth, super easy, really nice fluid trigger pull, and that's super important for getting your aim right, because if you're pulling too hard, fighting for that trigger pull, it's gonna mess up your aim. And even like, especially with shooting bigger fish, that can mean all the difference between landing and losing your fish. So another thing I love about it is the fact that it's wood. Wood is a lot denser than a pipe gun, for example. Oh, and another thing too is most pipe guns don't have that fluid of a trigger pull. But another thing that puts it over pipe guns, in my opinion, is that wood actually absorbs shock really well because it's so much denser than a pipe gun, which is hollow. So there's little to no recoil on it, depending on what kind of bands you use. I'm shooting 5/8 Riffe bands, which are a little bit stiffer. They're actually a lot stiffer than your standard black. And if I tried to put this on, like, say, my 90 Aimrite, it would be almost unshootable because the recoil would be too crazy. There'd be shaft whip as the shaft leaves the gun, and all of those things would just completely throw your aim off. But with this gun, it's dense wood, so it absorbs that shock real well. And one thing that I like about it that puts it over other wood guns, in my opinion, or certain other wood guns, is that Riffe laminates their wood. So it's multiple pieces of wood glued together essentially, and it just makes this gun a lot stronger than, say, a one piece, like a gun that's made of strictly one piece of wood. And it also helps to make it, like, if there's a crack, say if you have a gun that's just one piece of wood, there's a crack in that gun, the gun it's finished already. But if there's any sort of damage in this gun, it's just one piece of all of the pieces that are put together. And also when you're buying a gun that's made out of one piece of wood, you don't really know what you're gonna get. For example, the wood could be super dense or it could be super buoyant, and so like that gun underneath the water, you don't know how it's gonna behave. It could float, it could just start floating, or it could be super dense and sink when you're trying to aim, and I just didn't want to take that risk. And so this was a good choice because Riffe laminates their wood to make it consistent with each gun, so that it kind of stabilizes in the water. So those are some things that I like about it, and we can get into some things that I don't like too much about it, which aren't that many. So there's only one real con that I have about this gun, one real problem that exists, and it's the fact that because it is so dense, while it does help absorb shock and recoil, it does make it a little bit harder to move in the water because it's so heavy, and so it does lose points for maneuverability, and moving it from side to side, it is a little bit slow as opposed to something light like a pipe gun. However, for me, I feel like it's not that much of a problem because when you're diving deeper, fish tend to be calmer, and you don't really want to make quick side-to-side movements because it can just scare the fish, and that sudden movement can spook them and they'll take off and you won't even get a shot. So for me, it's better to in my experience, it's better to just take your time when moving from side to side. I have very rarely gotten into situations where it would require me to move the gun quickly, but if those situations did exist, this gun would be at a disadvantage because it's just not that quick to move through the water. When you're hunting shallower, fish tend to be more excited, and so I could see where then you might want something that has a little bit more maneuverability. But honestly, you could just get this same gun but make it shorter, and it would move pretty well. But because it's a 110 and it's heavy, it is a little bit harder to move through the water. But Riffe does help out with that because they design it so that it's a lot shorter. That it's wide this way, but then it's short this way. So then the design helps it cut through the water a little bit better. But it is still heavy and it is still a bit slower. But like I said, a lot of times you don't want to make those quick movements because it can scare the fish and just make them take off and you won't even get a shot. So for me, it's not that big of a problem, but I just wanted to mention it so that if you're thinking about buying a Riffe, it might be a deal breaker for you. I don't know. I just thought I would let you guys know that so that you're aware of it. But if you're thinking about buying a wood gun and you just can't decide which one, all wood guns are going to be pretty heavy. All wood guns are going to be dense. So it is a little bit of an issue with pretty much all wood guns. So yeah, that's the only problem I have with it. But now we're just going to get into some fish that I've shot with it, and I'm going to go through some aspects of the gun that exists in each of the clips that I'm going to show you, and why that helped me to land whatever fish that I'm shooting at.
Alright guys, so this clip highlights the very low recoil of this gun. So if we slow it down, you'll notice that recoil is really minimal and almost barely anything, and those are both 5/8 bands, and they're both Riffe bands, which are a lot punchier, and it still didn't have that much recoil. And one thing you'll also notice is a trend among these clips is the pinpoint accuracy of this gun and how it's so consistent with each and every shot, how it almost always lands in the same exact spot or area every single time, which is super crucial to me. Consistency is very, very important, especially when you're trying to learn how to shoot a specific gun. So this clip is another highlight of the accuracy of this gun. This clip is of my big uku that I shot. So you can see him right there. Then he comes around. Boom. So like I said, the accuracy on this gun is next level, and that's super important to me. The consistency of each shot and having it land in the same spot each time. So the Omilu, I shot it in the gills. This Uku, I landed it right through the eye and the gill plate. So both of them are headshots. And those shots are really high percentage holding shots because that area is so hard and stiff. So it's really unlikely that a fish is going to rip off. So like what I said earlier about it making the difference between landing and losing a fish, that's what I mean, is landing the shot somewhere where it won't rip. So this is a move that I shot a little while ago, and it's just another display of the accuracy of the gun. And this shot is especially a display of the accuracy because he's at a bad angle. He's almost turned directly away from me with a little bit of his head sticking out on his right side, and the gun was still able to land where I pointed it. And so really just super sharp accuracy on this gun. And so far 3 for 3 on headshots, and it's about to be 4 for 4. As you'll see, this moo comes in, boom, stone, drop dead. And so this gun has a ton of power. You can load up a lot of power on it while not compromising on accuracy. Like I said, it's 5/8 bands, and Riffe bands are super stiff to give them a little bit more punch and a little bit more power. And even still, the Riffe handles it. No shaft whip, no anything like that. Just straight from the tip of the gun through the fish, exactly where you want it to be. This one here is an example of the power of the gun because that Uku was actually pretty far away, and I still managed to land a shot. I believe this is the only clip in this video that I didn't land a headshot, and because he was far away, but still was able to reach the fish and land it. And that just goes to show the power of the gun and its range. Here's a clip of the ulua that I shot, if you guys watched my last video. So this one, it was super important for me to stone the fish and really important for me to have a reliable gun. But this right here puts on display the lack of maneuverability because I was not able to keep up with the fish. But then this one comes in and boom. So super important for me to get a stone shot, and this gun executed perfectly, because if I had missed this shot even by an inch, I would have lost my first ulua and it would have wrecked my gear. So it was super important for me to stone the fish in that moment, and the gun didn't fail me. Once again, pinpoint accuracy on such a huge target to hit the stone shot. Just really reliable gun. And I just wanted to show this one. This is just another display of the accuracy. Although this fish came in super close, this big yellow spot, so it didn't really matter. But the importance of landing stone shots just on display here. Or not stone shots, but holding shots. This one, I got him right through the gills. So just overall, reasons to support why I feel like this is one of the best guns on the market and my personal favorite that I've ever used. Almost every single shot in this video was a headshot, and it's just super important to me that every shot is consistent and every shot lands in about the same place, which is just why this is a top tier gun for me.
Alright guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of this Riffe Euro, and I hope it helped you guys clear anything up if you are looking for a Riffe Euro yourself, or you're looking for a wood gun, just a new upgrade to your current arsenal. I hope this helped clear things up, clear up some options for you, and hopefully you guys pick up one of these yourself. It's a really reliable gun. As I said numerous times in this video, my favorite gun that I've ever shot, and the gun, I've already shot more fish and better fish with this gun than I did with my Aimrite, which I had for a lot longer. And I've had this gun for maybe 6 months at the most, and I've just been producing almost every single dive with it, and I wouldn't trade it for any other gun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are looking into purchasing a Riffe yourself. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. As always, I will see you in the next one. Shoots, everybody.